What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rage, and we are back today to talk about the Dark Promotion and best Dark Diamond upgrades right now in the game. Given that many of these characters are actually pretty meta breaking, I know I've been asked this quite a bit, and in terms of my resources from a standpoint of free to play, I do want to just briefly talk about what my game plan has been, and what I would personally recommend if you guys are also in the same situation of building up resources and obviously making that pivotal decision of which ones to pull the trigger on, especially given your current roster and game goals. So that's what we're going to be deep diving today, guys. First and foremost, as a quick little introduction and background in case you guys are not aware, the two resources that you will need in order to actually fully unlock some of these characters all the way to 3 diamond are what I have on screen here. Dark promotion credits on the left there in white. This actually allows you to upgrade characters to 7 red, and again, it's those exclusive characters including the Dark Dimension unlocks such as Dormammu, Doctor Doom, Ultron, the Horseman, the trial characters, and obviously Super Skrull and Apocalypse. Once you get them to 7 red, the next step will be actually utilizing these Dark Diamond credits. So again, earned in the game just by playing, but over time we should be saving quite a bit of this, especially if you guys are partaking in Crucible. You can see there I'm ready pretty much for the next 7 red character to fully upgrade, especially if Super Skrull does have his diamonds released. But that's essentially how the process works, guys. You use the Dark Promotion credits to bring said tunes to 7 red at least over time, and then finally you can pull the trigger then using these Dark Diamond credits, which ultimately should bring your characters up to 3 diamond. And obviously with each level it's going to be scaling differently, it's going to cost differently, and that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today in terms of the recommendations. In case you guys aren't aware, this is not a conclusive list by any means, but they are actually, personally in my eyes, some of the best upgrades that you can take advantage of. There's some situational characters I did not include just because they are situational. I do believe what we have on here are some of the strongest options that you should be considering in upgrading, especially if you have access to the Dark Promotion credits, and then finally obviously the Dark Diamond credits. So left to right, we have 3 of the most powerful characters in the game, being Super Skrull, Apocalypse, and Black Knight. They have completely reshaped the meta ever since their introduction. They're still very, very relevant and arguably still the number 2, 3, 4 top characters in the game. Exception is Old Man Logan. He just got added into the game, so obviously his upgrades aren't yet available, but something to be on the watch for. Now, with 2023 here, we have the release of the 3 trial characters in Black Cat, Green Goblin Classic, and Nova, and these 3 definitely are some of the better legendary characters in the game. Obviously, Old Man Logan, like I said, he should be in this list, but not yet added for upgrades, but these 3 are definitely some strong standouts because of their different team synergies. Definitely less emphasis on Nova though, just because his team is mainly focused in war, whereas both Black Cat and Green Goblin Classic have a multitude of different uses in the game, and you're going to be getting a lot of value by upgrading these 2 characters as well. And then finally, contrary to the belief that the Horseman characters are not great anymore, actually a couple of these characters are still worth upgrading, and that's why I wanted to include them on this list, because there are definitely some options, especially Morgan Le Fay and Red Hulk. I think they're the 2 most important members of the Horseman team, but obviously with the meta changing and so forth, some of these respective teams have fallen off. But just for reference, these are the type of characters that you can be obviously upgrading on top of the Dark Dimension releases, such as, again, as I mentioned, Doctor Doom, Dormammu, Ultron, and so forth. Now, what I've done then, guys, is I've essentially populated the total cost here for bringing up characters all the way to 7 red in addition to the 3 diamonds, and I think this captures the majority of the characters actually available that you can actually gain access to. And only exception is, obviously you can see some of these said characters, especially from 1 red to 4 red, like Apocalypse, Skrull, Dormammu, Doctor Doom, and Ultron. You can actually get their reds already through the completion of said saga or said Dark Dimension. So make sure you guys, if you're going through this and you're seeing this, make sure you're not wasting your Dark Promotion credits, because these are resources that are awarded in the game, so it's going to save you a bit there. But afterwards, as you can see, some of these characters at the very top here, especially Apocalypse and Super Skrull, their costs absolutely catapult. We don't have Super Skrull's diamonds yet, but you can see even in the use case here of Apocalypse, it costs 1,200 for the first diamond, then it doubles to 2,400 for the second diamond, and then finally to get him to 3 diamond you need 6,000. So it does scale exponentially, and that's why we have to be very, very strategic with how we use these upgrades. Now, if we move over here to the second row of characters in Black Knight, the trial legendary characters and the Horseman, it's a lot cheaper, right? You can see in that green zone from 1 red to 5 red, it's actually, pretty bearable. And then afterwards, 6 red to 7 red, and obviously the diamonds, that's going to obviously be playing a factor as well. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe Black Knight's diamonds are available, and some of the trial legendary characters are available, but it's probably going to be similar to what we see in the Horseman cost, which is 900, 1800, and 4500. So something to be on the lookout for. And then finally, we do have Quicksilver, Big Time Spider-Man, Iron Man, Zombie, as well as Jugs, all being available. But again, guys, I don't know if I would recommend them, because for me personally, I look for the highest impact in terms of what they're going to be bringing to your roster, the plug and play value, and how they're going to be changing every game mode if you have these characters unlocked. So that's why I've specifically noted that Apocalypse, Super Skrull, and Black Knight, they are S tier from this list, which means they should definitely be the 3 characters you should be focusing on in this list before the other legendary characters, before the Horseman. Now, obviously, some of you folks may not have access to these 3 characters. Does it make sense to save and wait? That's what we'll also be going over actually pretty briefly here. So personal recommendations based on this list and what we've talked about, and that's why it's very, very important to understand, how much every upgrade costs, because it's going to play a factor. Honestly speaking, 5 red is going to be the best balance between the stats and the resources. Even if we go back here, you can see 5 red is that nice medium before it kind of jumps off in terms of your value essentially diminishing. Especially if you look in the 5 red chart, obviously top down, 3,500 for Apocalypse, 5,000 for Skrull, costs quite a bit. But if you look at Black Knight, if you look at the trial legendary characters and the Horsemen, they're actually pretty feasible. You can get a couple of the Horsemen or trial legendaries for the same cost of simply upgrading Apocalypse or the other Dark Dimension tunes. And again, they're all going to add more value, in my honest opinion, than a character such as Dr. Doom or Ultron. So definitely something to consider. 5 red's a nice little stopping point, the balance between your resources and stats. I personally mentioned this before already, but focus on what's best for your roster and your current goals. For example, it doesn't really make sense to upgrade for Skrull if you don't have him unlocked. Actually, on that note, I don't think you can even see him in the actual store if you don't have him unlocked, so you will never have that issue. But in case you guys are saving for that, unless you know that the character is going to be unlocked and released in your account maybe in a month or two, I don't know if I would save, because you should be trying to use these resources as well to make the best of your progress in your roster, so that way you're getting some value, especially given how powerful some of these trial legendary characters are. I definitely wouldn't recommend waiting, or unless maybe you have a reserve so you can afford to spend a bit and as well obviously build up your supply. And then finally, remember what I mentioned earlier, guys. There's not really a point in upgrading Diamond if you do not have the Dark Promotion credits to 7 red. So you can save a lot of resources like I showed earlier here with the Dark Diamond, but what's the point if you do not have some of these set characters to 7 red? So that's why I am pretty excited to wait for Super Skrull's Diamonds to get it added. I'm pretty sure it's coming, but in the meantime, that's probably not moving until I at least slowly work up my Black Knight. That's kind of my game plan right now, especially given how powerful these characters are, or Old Man Logan, vice versa, right? So guys, I'm going to go back now to obviously the screenshot here, because now we can at least revisit, based on this discussion, what you should be doing if you are in an end game like myself, and kind of what my current game plan is right now. So Super Skrull, Apocalypse, Black Knight, I think Old Man Logan will also be in this mix. They're going to be my priority. I've stopped, obviously, here with the upgrades, respectively, to the Trial Legendaries, but I think a 5 red upgrade is the best balance for characters like Black Cat and Green Goblin Classic. I removed Nova because, again, I love the fact of how powerful he is in war, but he just doesn't have enough plug and play compared to Black Cat and Green Goblin Classic. They just give you so much value in all the game modes, especially if you're starting to dip in Arena. Black Cat Secret Defenders is still part of that Arena team. Until Super Skrull and Apocalypse Black Knight gets added into that mixture. And then with the Horsemen, I would honestly just leave them safely there at 4 red, 5 red. I don't know if they're worth the resources. Quicksilver I added onto this mix because of his plug and play value. But otherwise, I think the only 3 characters you should be focusing on in this game, especially if you got them unlocked right now for credits, is Skrull, Apocalypse, and Black Knight. I got my Apocalypse to 3 diamond. It is astronomical how powerful this character is and the value he brings in all game modes. Super Skrull, he's taking his sweet time in getting upgraded because of how costly the Dark Promotion credits are. But in the meantime, I have been able to max as much as I can with Black Knight. And once his diamonds come, I do plan on using some of the credits too. So if he comes before Super Scroll, 100% I'm going to be bringing him up just because, again, he's just so relevant. His kit is unique, and the fact that he has an on-spawn taunt, he's going to last for quite some time, especially with Super Scroll. So these three are definitely the priorities, guys. Let me know what you think in comments below if you agree or disagree. I'm curious to hear back from you guys. Hopefully this helps you at least now pinpoint a game plan on what to prioritize and how to build your resources up in terms of saving. And remember, you can always get dark promotion credits from farming the incursion the incursion nodes for campaign. It's not, reliable at times, but at least it's a way to build up. And then obviously the rest are orbs when there's a 10x promo. So hope this helps you guys out. Let me know what you think in comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.